Target Trading Academy.
Good afternoon, everybody. Preston Vogl here at Target Trading Academy with today's Micros Market Recap. Let's get right into it. It is Thursday, July 27th at the New York close. Let's start off with micro oil. So oil opened ever so slightly, gap up. That close was down here. We never got to it. There was pressure, though. They had some support from this HVA edge that they were opening right up on. And then they had that resistance from that contract high that they had put in. I don't remember how many days. It's been a few days, not too many. But they had ultimately had those sellers drive it down, only for them to sweep it back up and drive that market higher. And then they tried to getting lower, but ultimately they couldn't really break this HVA edge entirely. They did bleed through it a little bit. But with that said, we are finishing positive on the day because that close was down here. And then as far as gold goes, well, gold was interesting. It's still split in volume. So keep that in mind. We have thinner market, so higher volatility. With gold, we opened above its close, above that range ever so slightly, got right into it, got to the close, and then they just kept going, right? This large bar is that 8:30 news that we had this morning. But they just kept going, and then they settled in around this HVA here, not really able to break out of it on the high end or the low end. But with us getting that close right away, it's pretty obvious that we did close net down. So we're positive in oil, negative in gold. And then our equities, those were interesting. We opened gap up in both the micro ES and micro NASDAQ, well above that contract high in the micro ES. I had an initial dip down. Buyers stepped in, faking people out. And then you can see it became a real fight. It got really choppy. And then it broke. And this was that value area that we were watching right here, this 46.25-ish mark. And then when they broke that, they came back up to it, got stuffed again, hit that contract high, had some support off of it, and then just hit it again. And then they tried getting back up there to carry that move up higher, and they just couldn't do it for a third, fourth time, ultimately breaking that contract high, getting to that close from the day prior, and then getting even lower than the day from yesterday. So huge move on the day. Plenty of opportunities that had occurred, whether students took them or not, it really just depends on them. But per the methodology, there was plenty of standard HVA reversals, plenty of trending entries as well. But we are finishing net down on the day. And then the NASDAQ, similar story, with the exception that we didn't open gap up above the contract high. We still just opened inside that contract range, but well above the high from the day prior in the close. But and then we had somewhat of an inverse reaction. Instead of the dip down, we went up and then down, faked out, and then they climbed. And that was our no-go zone. They just didn't want to get above that part there. And then you can see they fought coming back through that HVA edge to make new lows from those opening lows as well. But once they broke, it was like releasing the waters from the dam. And it just, the market auction process just kept driving it down. And despite their efforts of bringing it up, they couldn't really sustain it too much. But ultimately, they did bring it down and made new lows on the day pretty consistently. And then they broke the range lows as well, but not by a whole lot, as you'll see here, once they finally got to them. And there's the range lows from yesterday, but they barely broke them, had a decent response off of it. And by decent, I mean quite a nice response. That was the first time they had gotten to that. So that was a potential trade for our students to look at as well. And that was a big move. But needless to say, it looks like we are going to be finishing net down in the ES. NASDAQ, it is relatively close to its close from yesterday, and they can be going on for another hour or so before those markets really settle out. But so far, it is negative as well. So negative in NASDAQ, ES, gold, positive in oil. If you are interested in learning more information about these levels and how you can get them onto your charts the night before, just make sure to reach out to us. We are Target Trading Academy. You can find us on Facebook or go to our website, targettrading.co. And then they'll gladly show you what we do in our rooms each and every day. And then you'll be able to make your own judgment for yourself and see why we are the #1 trading education company in the world. We look forward to seeing you there.